Hi guys, I'm Kate Beisel and I'm a park naturalist here at Jakes Branch County Park. And today I'm going to be sharing a craft with you that I had a lot of fun making. And normally we're open on the weekends and we have a drop-in program, but as of right now, we're not open. So we wanted to still share something with you. So we have this fun, cool little drop-in craft that you guys can do. This is a picture frame just made out of nature, so I've been calling it a nature frame. And if you would like to join me, then stick around. So to start, you guys are going to need a couple of things. You're going to need about 8 sticks of the same length, and I actually found these right outside of Jakes Branch, and you guys are welcome to find them in your backyards, if you go out for a walk, or if you come out to any of our parks. You're welcome to take some sticks with you. Make sure you leave any flowers though, but sticks are totally fine. And I had to break some of these too to make them the same length, so that's fine too, and then I kind of took a scissors to some of these because they were a little bit sharp, just to make them a little bit safer. Besides that, you guys are also going to need twine, and I have a couple different size lengths of twine, or you can use string or shoelace, whatever you would like to use. Anything that you can tie and kind of holds up pretty well. So we have different lengths, so you're going to need 4 pieces that are probably about 8 inches long, and I just kind of eyeballed this, so nothing super perfect. And then about 4 pieces, actually about 13 pieces altogether. I just have these broken up for later, but about 13 pieces of like 6 inches. And if you're not sure, make them a little bit bigger and you can always trim them down later. And then you'll need some scissors, pencil, some paper, and then I am going to be framing this today. This is a female ruby-throated hummingbird. And before I do that, I am going to scooch all of this aside. I also actually have some fake vines that I had lying around my house, and I use those. I'm going to be using those in the picture frame. If you want to decorate it, feel free. You can use flowers. If you wanted to use real flowers or real vines, you could do that too. Just make sure that they're dry. And same with the sticks. You want them to be pretty dry as well. So to start, I'm going to take my piece of paper and my pencil, and I am actually going to trace out the picture I want to draw. And I am going to use that as a template for the rest of the time. It's a little bit easier to lay your sticks on the paper and go that way versus trying to balance them on your picture, and you might actually end up ripping your picture a little bit or just making it dirty. And I didn't want to do that. So I'm going to trace it. And again, nothing perfect, just a fun craft. Just gonna go all the way outside. So I'm going to take 4 of my sticks. So I'm going to take these 4 first. And these sticks too, along with these little like side pieces, I ripped a lot of those off just to make them fit together a little bit better because it's kind of hard to, they're fighting with each other. So I took some of those off, and you can rip those off as well. All right, so to start, I'm going to lay these pieces flat, and I want to make sure that I have pieces that are about 2 inches longer, like 1 inch on each side, longer than the picture that you wanted to do. So if you wanted to make like a 4x6 picture, you want to make sure that you have sticks that are about 6x8. Just because when you go to tie them, it's going to make it a little bit smaller, and you don't want a frame that looks like this by the end of it. All right, so I'm going to lay these guys out. And I like to put everything, bottom. Yeah, there we go. So right now I'm just making sure that everything looks good. And these are a little bit longer too, and that's okay. I can trim those off at the end, or actually I kind of like how it looks right now, so I might leave that. So once we have our template all drawn out and we know that the sticks fit, I like to actually take them off and just kind of work with 2 at a time to start. And I'm going to remove this one for just a second. So I'm going to take my twine, the pre-cut twine, the 6 inches, and I am just going to loop it around. I like to start at the top and then go in like a clockwise position. It just helps me keep track of my place better. So I tied it once, and then you got to make it tight. I'm going to double knot it and actually I might triple knot it. There we go, nice tight knot. And then I'm going to take this piece, this cross piece, and I'm going to place it on top. I'm going to line it up a little bit. So I'm going to tie a knot under here. And you can see how it's scooting around. It's not going to be perfect. These sticks, this twine, it's very forgiving. So I can just kind of move it back into place. It'll get a little bit harder the more that we add, but for right now, this is totally fine. So I am going to loop this one more time. I highly recommend at least double knotting it, just makes it a little bit stronger. And then I'm going to take this piece and just kind of loop it. I like to do the diagonal. So there's that. And then I'm going to do it on the other side, just make it the opposite. Boop. Boop. Done. And then I'm gonna tie it. All right, we have one side done. And I like to keep a clean template, so I'm just gonna brush off some of that twine. And again, I'm using this as a reference, this template, so I'm trying to make it about even. There we go. So what I'm going to do next, again, clockwise position, so I'm just going to go this way. So now I have my third piece, and I'm going to take my twine, and you can line it up too, so I know I want my twine to be around here. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. There's one, two, and then I'm going to take it just like I did before, and I'm going to tie the twine just like this to the cross piece, just like that, and I'm going to double knot it again, and then same thing. So I take it and it's going on a diagonal. I'm going to pull it tight. You want it to be nice and tight. And that's one side. And then same thing on the other side. I'm just going to take it and throw it across. And pull it tight. And then when I'm done with this one, I'm going to check to make sure that it fits and adjust as needed. So using my template, we're always going back to that template. And then again, I'm going to trim and arrange. So this is looking pretty good so far. All right, so I am going to work on the fourth side. So we did the same with the third piece. Now we're just finishing up our fourth piece to make that full square, or I guess this is a rectangle. And I kept adjusting it to make sure that it fit within, relatively. It's not going to be perfect, like I said, but just that it fits pretty well into our template. So I'm just doing the diagonal, do one more, and then same thing as before. I'm just going to tie. So adding another layer to this really helps strengthen it. So I have 4 other pieces that I'm going to use, and again, I have these little points on them. You can just rip those off pretty easily, or leave them if that's what you like. Go for it. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to lay them out again, just to make sure that they all kind of fit nicely. Nothing's too bowed or anything like that. And it's okay that these pieces are different sizes. You can always trim that down afterwards, or you can even trim it down now if you would like. There's no wrong way to do this picture frame. There we go, perfect. So I just wanted to make sure that everything fit okay, it looks good. So I'm going to do just what I did before, and I'm going to take off some pieces, and I'm just going to leave this one right here. So what you need to, you need the other twine, the 6 inches of twine, all but one piece. We're going to save that for the very end, and I already set that aside. And we're going to use the rest of the 6-inch pieces. So there should be about 8 of them. And again, if you need more, or if something's not working, doesn't have to be perfect, so just feel free to cut as much as you would like. And if you want to make this longer, you can always trim it later, like I said. So what I'm going to do, just like before, I'm going to take my first piece and tie a knot. Move that up. Try a second knot. And then I'm going to place it. I like all of my pieces, my horizontal pieces underneath. I just like the way it looks. And I am going to go ahead and tie that. All right, so I completed the other sides, making sure that it stayed within the template. And now I'm on my final piece. So each stick or twig should have 2 ties to it, and it should be tied around each. So I'm going to knot this guy, just like you've been doing for everything else. All right, and we are getting to the end. Look at how firm that is now. If you feel like it, you're certainly welcome to add another 4 pieces. You would just repeat all the steps that you just did if you want it to be even stronger, but I am pretty happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the long strips of twine, so the 8 inches. I'm going to get 1 piece at a time, and then I am just going to make sure that all of these are tied together. So just like before, you can see I'll move that out of the way. Take a knot. Really, if you can knot, that's 99% of the battle. Just like that. And then same thing that we were doing before, I'm going to take this piece, wrap it around, make it nice and snug. This side, tie this guy, and then this is where you can have a little bit more fun. If you have long enough twine, and if you want, you could make little bows here. You could just leave it long. I like the cut look though, so I am going to trim those one more time, but you do whatever you like to look at. I'm going to do that all the way around. I did all the other corners. Last one, just like the others. Just making it extra secure. I love how this turned out. I'm excited. I'm gonna loop, swoop, and pull those guys. Do one more knot. Really working on our fine motor skills right there. Nothing wrong with that. And same thing with the sticks. If you wanted to add even one more piece to either like make it look thicker, or if you wanted it to be like even a little bit more sturdy, I'm very happy with that. But feel free to do that. Feel free to add some more. Great, so now we have our picture frame. It's beautiful, it's nice and sturdy. So what we do now is we take our picture or artwork, whatever you are framing, and I really didn't, use a lot of, I didn't do anything fancy, let's say. So I kind of just flip this over, and then I put this on here, and I'm making sure I like it. There's a little gap. I am not worried about it because it actually looks really cool. Flipping it over, and then I took my hot glue gun, so kids, make sure that you have parents, if you're doing this, help you, because glue guns are hot. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right on that twine that I was using, and then stick a little piece of my picture. And then same with all the corners, just get that done real quick. Nothing fancy. It takes about, I don't know, maybe a minute or two for it to dry. So this is what we have so far. We have the picture in. I don't mind it being like popped out a little bit like that. Yeah, I like that. We have the picture. We have the nice frame. So what we're going to do now is we just need a place to hang, or we just need a way to hang it. So with that one last piece of twine that you should have cut, again, I have like 6 inches. You can make them smaller. On the first one I made, I definitely made it a little bit smaller, but if you want to make it bigger, whatever fits your needs at this point. So what I did before, I just kind of strung it through. Actually, I'm going to go through the bottom one, give it some more support, and I'm going to tie this. We're all about knots today. Just the simple knot. Do it twice. Once, twice. 3 times. And then same thing with the other side. So I'm taking this and I'm just tying it onto itself. And then tie it down. Just like that. And I am going to keep these little flyaways because I like them. There you go. And if this is all you want to do, that's great. If you want, I also on my other one added some little vines. Nothing fancy. And like I said before, if you wanted to use flowers or anything, just make sure that they're dry. And same thing, just hot glue those bad boys on. And then you have yourself a nature frame. And I kind of like, I did a male and a female ruby-throated hummingbird. So that's that. And if you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. Or if you end up making one and would like to show it, we would love to see them. Feel free to leave that in the comments as well. So that's that craft. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kate Beisel, and again, I'm at Jakes Branch County Park, and I hope you have a good weekend.